Hey, welcome folks to the September edition of the Fort Walton Beach Business Forum. We've got a good show for you today. I've got Senator Don Gaetz and Representative Matt Gaetz with us this morning. And also we're going to have Pam Woodall and Tammy McGoy to talk about the Chamber's upcoming Dog Days event in October. So right now we're going to get into talking with Senator Gaetz and with Matt, Representative Gaetz. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys.
Thanks very much. We have a lot of canines and felines in Tallahassee in the legislature, so I'll feel right at home today talking about dog days.
It's not like cats and dogs fighting with cats and dogs.
Once in a while.
Every now and then you might get a rat thrown in there or a snake.
That's true. That's true. And a lion, and a tiger, and a bear.
Yeah. Oh my. So welcome to the show. We talked a little bit about what we're going to converse about this morning, and that is the legislative agenda that just finished up a few months back. And I know that you were able to get a lot of good things for our area, for Okaloosa County, and just want to ask you about some of those. Just tell us about some of the accomplishments that came out of this legislative session.
Well, probably the leading accomplishment is that we balanced the budget, we didn't raise taxes, and now people are going to the tax collector's office and they're getting their tags and titles renewed and finding out that we rolled back the tag and title cost increases that were adopted back in 2009. And so the average person who has a typical vehicle, a car or a pickup truck, is getting about a $25 cut in their taxes. And that's important, particularly now as people are going back to school. A little extra cash in your pocket is the right thing to do, and it's better for those who do the work to have that cash in their pocket instead of government.
Go ahead.
And also, we had just a banner year for our local area as a result of our legislative delegation working together if you look at the Department of Transportation's 5-year work plan and some of the other infrastructure enhancements for Northwest Florida, we'll be bringing about $1 billion to this region, and that's unprecedented, and it's certainly something we're proud of. We're really excited locally for the Bud and Dory Day Trail to open up. That'll be a great celebration of really some of the most wonderful lives we've had a chance to witness and be a part of in this community, and really a number of other projects we see on the forefront to make sure that Florida continues to make an investment in this great community that we live in.
And that is a chamber initiative that we started trying to figure out a way to honor Bud, who passed away last year. Had a lot of suggestions, and the nature trail came up from the Women's Club. So we thank you for your help with that. We thank you for your help with the appropriations through FDOT. You can actually, when you go up 123 nowadays towards Crestview, you can see some of that in coming to fruition. So we appreciate all that you do for us. And we know that there's other things that are happening around the district as well.
Infrastructure is important. Unless we have the ports and the airports, unless we have the highways and the byways and the roads, we can't attract businesses to come here to help build our economy, to create jobs and job opportunities. So it's critical that our infrastructure keeps up with and leads our economy, and that's why Matt and I work together to make sure that more than $1 billion in infrastructure funding would come right here to our part of Northwest Florida. It's about time we get some of our own money back.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And the other thing is, we had the recent elections, and we had the vote on the referendum for the extension of the ad valorem exemption for new businesses and expanding businesses, and you guys were helped with that to get that passed, and I think that's going to be a good thing for us, for Okaloosa County in particular, to try to get some new businesses in there with the Airbus going into Mobile and all the businesses that'll come out of that. So
well, and we live in a competitive environment, Ron, where we're always competing against our neighboring states and our neighboring regions, and we want to put Okaloosa County at the tip of the spear, where we are the place where someone wants to come to start their business, or if someone has an existing business platform here in Okaloosa County, we want to be viewed as a great opportunity for expansion and more job creation. It's great that we've got such low unemployment in our area, but we never will be satisfied until every person who wants a job and is willing to work at a job has that great opportunity, and really what a great place we live where we can make that happen.
Yeah, and you mentioned the competition. The state of Alabama is very competitive with economic development. You just pick up the paper or magazine or listen to their the Mobile TV stations, there's all kinds of things happening in Alabama, and we'd like to see some of it down here. And I think I'd rather be in Fort Walton Beach than maybe Montgomery because of the beach. You know, everybody likes to come down to the beach and enjoy Okaloosa County, what it has to offer from the beach to the forest and all of the lakes and the rivers in between there. There's lots to do here, and the population and the education that we have in Okaloosa County is just A-plus schools, the colleges that are there. So we're real fortunate, and I was very glad to see really a tremendous, like 75% voted yes for that. So that was great.
It is, and as we look forward to linking education to the economy, one of the bills that Matt and I worked on together and that we were pleased to see passed this year strengthens the Career and Professional Education Act so that here in our school system and in school systems across Northwest Florida, we are educating students in high school and now soon in middle school who will be able to earn national industry certifications in 246 different career fields, everything from aviation to zoology, so that those students are getting curriculum developed by industry, instructors trained or provided by industry, assessment done by industry, credentials awarded by industry. So when they walk off the graduation stage, they actually have skills that will allow them to get real jobs in the real economy. And now, thanks to the bill that we worked on and that passed and that the governor signed, every time a student earns a national industry certification, the school is able to earn an extra $500 to $1,000 every certification earned to put back into a program to make sure that our children and our grandchildren are able to get and qualify for good jobs. When businesses look at our area, they look at all the advantages, Ron, that you described, but then they ask the question, is the workforce there? Can it be there quickly? And we want to make sure that our educational system is lashed to the opportunities of the economy.
And here's the key. Okaloosa County was the leader in the state and one of the leaders in the nation at developing those opportunities for our students when Don Gaetz was the school superintendent. That's because the public demanded it. Our hope is that the public in Okaloosa County continues to demand that Okaloosa County be a leader and that we don't slide down to the middle of the pack, because we've now created this great state platform for communities to step up and provide career technical education, and we want Okaloosa County to be at the very forefront of that.
Okay. We've got about a minute left in this first segment, and when we come back, I want to ask you about the programs that may be in place for our veterans. We have a lot of military in Okaloosa County and a lot of veterans, a lot of guys separating from the service, and I know they've got skills that we can use in our industries and our businesses. So when we come back in just a minute, we'll talk about the military, okay?
Good.
Okay. Folks, we'll be back in just a minute after the short commercial break. Here's some great messages. I've got Senator Don Gaetz and Representative Matt Gaetz with me. We'll be back in just a second.
George Everett Bud Day was a United States Air Force colonel and pilot who served during World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, including 5 years and 7 months as a prisoner of war in North Vietnam. Day was recipient of the Medal of Honor and the Air Force Cross. He was a patriot, a hero, neighbor, and friend. In honor of Bud and his wonderful wife Dory, our community is building the Bud and Dory Day Patriots Trail. This project will be totally sponsored by your donations. Donations of $100 or more will be listed as Friends of Bud and Dory Day and will receive a commemorative gift and your name on a plaque at the memorial.
Oh, I was really excited about it because, first of all, she said the Nature's Trail was going to be kind of a nature. I said, well, that's right up Bud's alley. I can't think of a nicer thing to remember him by.
For more information, please contact the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Fort Walton Beach Business Forum. I'm Ron Grissom, your host and chairman of the board of the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce. I've got Senator Don Gaetz and Representative Matt Gaetz as my guests for this segment. We've been talking about economic development in Okaloosa County, and before we took our break, I asked Senator Gaetz about programs for our military. We have a lot of military folks here, a lot of retirees, a lot of guys separating from the Air Force or the Army or the Navy or the Marines or the Coast Guard. We've got them all here in Okaloosa County. What programs do we got for those guys?
This past year, we passed in the Florida legislature what's called the Florida GI Bill. And this is a piece of legislation which makes Florida the most military-friendly state in the nation and keeps us that way.
Good.
And a couple of things in the bill that I think are significant, particularly to our area. First, we find that sometimes when people get out of the military and they're in Florida, and maybe they're a physician, maybe it's a dentist, maybe it's somebody who's a cosmetologist, and they discover that they have to go through a lot of hoops and scoops in order to practice their profession or their vocation in our state. We've had physicians, doctors tell me that it takes up to 6 months to go through all of the red tape in order to be able to practice medicine in this state. And so one of the things that Matt and I did was to support legislation that immediately allows those who are separating from the military, who are honorably discharged and have a good record in their profession, to be able to practice medicine or dentistry or nursing or physical therapy or other key vocations and professions that we need in our economy and do it right away. That's part of the Florida GI Bill. The other thing is that we're providing to our military veterans who are coming out of the military or who are out of the military, if you're anywhere in America, we want you in Florida. Mm-hmm. We want you to help build our communities and our neighborhoods and our churches and our synagogues here in Northwest Florida. And so what we say in this legislation is we'll provide subsidized in-state tuition for any military veteran in America who wants to come and live in Florida, make their life and their family here so that they can get an industry certification, so that they can get a community college degree or even a university degree. We believe so much in making our state and our area military friendly that we want to provide in-state tuition, we want to cut red tape, we want to provide extra help if a veteran wants to get into business. Now we have ways to help them get low interest, early loans, that sort of thing, to get into business to stay here. Because our veterans provide an extraordinary labor pool, but also they're the people who help make our schools better and help make our neighborhoods safer and help make our communities better to live in.
And Ron, this is a lesson we've learned in Northwest Florida, and Senator Gaetz and I have been able to sort of go around the state and share the value that people who've served in our armed forces bring to a community. We take it for granted that we grow up alongside, heroes like Bud Day and Colonel Gaetz and Ron Webb and people who just have these extraordinary life stories, and they really are the foundation of this community. Now we get to go around to the rest of the state and really preach the virtue of that, to bring folks who've served to Florida. And I've been very proud as the chairman of the Criminal Justice Committee to work with Judge Maney here locally to set up a special doctrine of veterans courts, because as we all know, veterans face a very tough challenge at times when they come home, and where there are issues that arise, we've designated a special docket to deal with veterans, and it's now become a model for the entire state and one of the models for the country.
So if you're a load master or an aircraft maintainer, you're separating, you're retiring, or you're just separating from the service, how do you find out about Florida's GI Bill, and how do you go about getting that training and that certification?
Well, we're very proud that our local workforce boards have stepped up to share the message of all the different opportunities, from whether it's tuition assistance or whether it's cutting through the red tape to get certified. I would encourage everyone to reach out to our local Jobs Plus workforce centers here in Okaloosa and Walton counties and throughout the region, and they are really helpful at guiding folks through that process to be able to access this really exciting menu of opportunities.
So it used to be Jobs Plus, and I think it's Careers Plus or something like that.
That's right.
Up on Racetrack Road.
Yep.
And you could just go up there and talk to anyone in there, and they can help you.
They are well versed in all of the opportunities that we have available, and they can really help tailor the packages that we have to a specific individual's need. And the great thing is there is no statute of limitations on the GI Bill. If someone has served in the military and now they might want to go back and get a different educational certification or enhance their earning potential, that opportunity is available.
And that's of no cost to that veteran.
Well, it depends on, in some circumstances, the type and length of service, but it is tuition assistance in many cases.
But as far as going to Jobs Plus,
no cost at all.
No cost at all. Just
None.
go in there and they'll help you. I know they help any way they can. They're one of our sponsors at the Chamber, and they speak every month at our new member lunch, so I'm familiar with those folks down there.
And one of the things, Ron, that they do that's really helpful to people separating from the service is they help crosswalk military skills into what's required in the civilian economy.
Exactly.
There are things that make sense in the military. People understand the language, they understand what a loadmaster is. But to crosswalk that and create the right kind of resume and then help sell that resume into the civilian economy, that's what we can do at the Okaloosa Walton Jobs Plus or Careers Plus Center.
We got a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to ask you about the special session that you just had on redistricting. And you and I were talking earlier that some of the folks on the other side of the aisle were complaining about the process being behind closed doors in that smoke-filled room. And I can remember a couple of years ago you telling us that you and Speaker Rutherford were going all over the state with town halls to talk about redistricting.
We had 5,000 people show up at 26 public hearings to provide written and oral testimony. It was the most open, transparent redistricting process in American history. But sometimes people don't get what they want. And I don't mean to be partisan about it, but we have 18 Senate seats that are competitive seats that are up this year. And the Democrats are only running candidates in 3 of those Senate districts. Well, it's hard to win if you don't have a team that even shows up to play.
Exactly.
So you can draw the lines any way you want to, and there's still going to be people who feel like they're disadvantaged. Well, you got to show up and play with good candidates and a good campaign. But I'm pleased to say that the Circuit Court in Tallahassee just approved the legislature's congressional lines that we drew in the special session. So probably those who are disaffected and want to win in the courtroom what they always lose on Election Day will continue to sue, and it'll cost taxpayers money. But the good guys continue to win.
And those have to be exactly even districts is what you were telling me
Yeah,
earlier.
congressional districts by federal law have to be exactly even. State House and State Senate districts, the kind that Matt and I represent, can be a few voters different one from the other, but they need to be approximately equal. The congressional districts have to be exactly equal, and we've done it in Florida, and we've got a circuit court that now says we did it right.
Right. We're about run out of time in this segment. I wanted to ask you both what your plans were in 2016. I kind of know what you're planning on doing, but I wanted to see if Don wanted to make an announcement on Fort Walton Beach Business Forum today about what his plans are in 2016.
My plans are to walk door to door for my favorite candidate for the senator from Northwest Florida, and he's sitting to my left.
Okay, and after that you're going to sit on the porch in the rocking chair, right?
I'm going to learn how to make that iced tea and lemonade mix.
I can't imagine that happening. We'll see. We'll see if that happens or not. Okay. Well, folks, we've been talking with Senator Don Gaetz and Representative Matt Gaetz from the Florida Legislature. Appreciate you both coming in today. We'll be back in a minute, and we're really going to the dogs. We're going to be talking about dog days with Pam Woodall and with Tammy McGoy.